How cola, brothers and sisters. Welcome to AquaBrain TV. On this show, we chat going fast on a snow skate with Harrison Bell. Coming to us from Breckenridge, Colorado. You can find Harrison on Instagram at Bell Harrison. That's at Bell Harrison on Instagram. Harrison Bell, how are you, man? Welcome to AquaBrain.
Doing good, man. Glad to have me. Glad you're having me. I've watched a number of these. I've always thought about coming on this show.
Heck yeah. Dude, awesome. I'm just happy people are watching. That just makes me excited.
Oh yeah, man. Well, you know how it is. There's just a very small world in snow skating, and there's not a lot of content creators. So it's just you recognize names pretty quickly, and I kept seeing yours pop up, and I was like, huh, Drew with the Aquabrain.
Yeah,
Gotta check
man.
these out.
Yeah, well, cool. So do you have a YouTube? Do you have a YouTube page?
I do. I kind of posted a few times last year, and then I fell off on it. But yeah, I do have a YouTube. It's just my name. I'm sure we can link it up somehow. But I've got a couple of like mic'd up on,
Oh, really?
and it's pretty goofy content. I'm like talking while riding and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, there's a couple
About
of those
relate
on
like
there.
unrelated topics and stuff or what?
Oh, mainly just talking about like the snow and you know whatever's going on. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to do a toe side slide here.
I just
Just
packed
goofy.
I just passed that kid at Mach 10. He's
Yeah,
okay.
it's kind of this thing that comes from longboard culture where it used to be cool to do like a microphone video run where you're talking about some like maybe you got a new set of wheels you're trying. You're doing a live review where you're like,
Oh,
"Whoa, that slide felt crazy," and it was just fun to watch. So I made a couple of those. I don't do
nice,
much on
man.
the YouTube though.
Yeah. Well, I'll link it so maybe that'll get people to at least go and
Yeah,
subscribe and stuff.
sure. I'll
I
certainly
think
try to
that's
make more long form content. I know it's just cool to see something that's not clips.
yeah, there's a lot. I mean, it's cool to see clips too, but to try to change it up and spice, throw a little spice in the soup.
Yeah. Yeah, we need more content creators and more shredders.
And there's people out there that I know are getting clips, and maybe they're just not maybe that's a very small group that they're releasing the clips to, or maybe they're hanging on to them, or who
Yeah, it's
knows.
just not getting seen like it should. Yeah.
Yeah, an idea I've been throwing around here is to have people do a submission, maybe like send clips in, and then I'll put together a quick edit of some clips, uh, and just put it up just to have it have some stuff like, hey, this happened this week. I tried to do that a little
Yeah.
bit with like
Feature page.
doing my Instagram feed and stuff like that, and my Facebook feed, and those. If people email in aquabraintv@gmail.com, wait, yeah, yeah, that's right. It's a lot easier to take a clip that somebody emails me or something, or there's a link to a Dropbox or a Google Drive or whatever, right? It's a lot
Yeah.
easier to take that clip and put it with a bunch of clips than to go on and try to take photos of, and like I don't know.
Screenshots of
Dude, it
pictures.
was, yeah, it was a lot of work. That was why there was only
I
a
believe
couple of
that.
those
I
things, man.
I tried to run a feature page for a little bit that was just downhill snow skates, and it was just gonna be people who kind of ride like me and just feature more of the longboard style snow skating. And I just ran out of content in 2 months.
Oh,
And then the
really?
page was just me reposting myself, so I kind of had to let
Yeah.
it die.
How many folks are doing that
The
longboard
long
style?
ski snow skating where you're imitating a longboard, not very many people, probably less than 10.
So is that a ski or is it a custom made skid or like
So
who?
mine's a custom ski. Most people who are riding long skis on snow skates are building them themselves. And so that's done using the split board technique where you drill inserts and then put snowboard inserts where you need them on the ski
Oh
and
wow.
then mount to that. So it gives you an uneven surface on the base, but it allows you to use any ski you want. So my Australian friends, my new sponsors in Australia, Omni Snowboards, they've been playing around with 180 centimeters. So he's got a 180 centimeter snow skate, and believe it or not, it carves and turns and has control, and it's not this crazy thing you'd think it would be.
I mean, it
So
seems
yeah,
super long, right? I mean,
yeah. But I
that's
mean, in skiing, it's pretty regular length. I mean,
yeah.
180s are like your big boy skis, and then you have like your 170s or your 160 something for messing around. But I think that's sort of the direction that we're moving now is like, yeah, it's fun, but you can do so much more. It's so much more capable on a long ski. And then the fact that the Australians can build a 180 setup, and I spend 2 years building my 170 setup, and it seems to ride just the same.
Huh.
I don't think we've really narrowed down what a snow skate ski is specifically different than a regular ski. As far as I can tell, they're the same performance. So
So are you finding, so have you ridden some of the smaller, the your standard snow
yeah,
skate
so
skid?
I've ridden the Hovland 5.0 is the smallest thing I've ridden, and then I've ridden the Ram, I've ridden the Buckshot. Um, that's all the Hovland skis I've ridden, and then I have a 138 centimeter, which is the short guy,
Yeah, I can see
and
that with the
the
mountain or
179. But
whatever.
yeah, in my experience, the small skis are really fun. They just don't have much edge hold. 138 is where you start to cross a line where there's so much edge hold, it becomes less fun to mess around, spin around, and stuff. I think once you get over 140 centimeters, it's pretty hard to spin 360s, and that kind of puts you into the long ski category. I think anyone riding 150 centimeter or bigger is in a different category.
Yeah, I think it's and I think it's awesome, right? Because they're starting to become different kinds of snow skating, right? So like you're saying, the
Yeah,
longboard, more longboard speed style, and then the freestyle, and even there's the powder, right? So
yeah.
there's
That's what I started doing. I was a powder skater when I first started snow skating. I was what I like to call powder hounding
yeah,
every weekend, and there was
fresh tracks.
check the snow stake, get those first tracks. And yeah, man, there's something really special about powder snow skating when your setup is dialed and you have the right amount of snow and the right pitch. It's like free fall,
Dude.
you know. So whatever
Yeah,
feeling people get out of snowboard powder riding, it's got to be like that times 10.
right.
So I
Yeah.
get it. I fully get it. Over time, it just became more reliable for me to go out. I can just sleep in, go out at 10, 11 a.m. and have a good experience with my long ski on the groomer. Where if I'm on the short ski, I really need that powder to have a good experience. So I'm stuck hunting the powder. So I don't miss powder hounding, but I get it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there's definitely a place for a powder ski in your quiver if you're a snow skater.
Yeah, I mean that's the beauty of it too, and it's like kind of it's very individualized, right? So you
Yeah,
might
and I
like
mean
one sub, you're another.
this is like the history of skateboarding though. In the beginning you had one type of skateboarding, which was roller skates on 2x4s, and then as things evolve, things radiate. This is just the nature of evolution that, you have different disciplines radiate outward, and eventually they start to not look like one another. And we're finally getting to that point in snow skating where you can see people really have a different style. It's not, yeah.
So you were out last year, and I remember, was it last year or the year before, maybe both years? You were uh somehow were you using radar, or how were you getting your speeds?
So we're just using GPS on phones. We use
Okay.
Strava, which is pretty accurate. Strava is a great app. You can use timing systems. I mean, it allows you to set up timing systems. So we actually use it in longboarding. So like there's an event called SMR, and at SMR, Strava is the timing system to
Oh, gotcha.
determine qualifying because it's really cheap to do it that way. And yeah, it's pretty accurate. So I'm pretty safe. People would say something like, do it again with a radar gun. And I'm like, I just don't care until it's the real deal and we have
Yes.
a speed trap set up. But
Yeah.
that's, different conversation.
Well, so how fast? Okay, record, whatever. Let's not talk that. But personally, using the GPS, what was your what was your fastest mark, and what was your most consistent? What do you think?
So I'm always striving for consistency. So my fastest mark was 70 miles an hour on the dot. And I read it, went up the chairlift and said, I got to do it again because I'm not going to be happy with that. I want to break
Yeah.
70. I want to sit at 70. So I went and did it again, and it gave me 70 on the dot again. And I'm starting in the same place on the same hill, same outfit. So I said, that makes sense. And I just left it at that.
So explain that hill. Like what was the run?
So it's just the very last roller on a run called Rosie's Run at Copper. If you go on Strava and look up Rosie's Run and look up that segment at the very bottom of the hill, you'll see that it's a pretty popular run for skiers to straight line. So there's some pretty wild speed records already set on there. Some of the records on there are like inaccurate because if the GPS reading goes wrong,
Yeah.
sometimes it'll just send it to the database and then it'll upload that you went, 300 miles an hour, and then
Oh,
that one,
wow.
so that guy stays on the number one slot. So I am number 10 officially. Unofficially, I'm like the fifth fastest person down Rosie's run, which is sweet. People got
Wow.
mad at me because that run spits out straight into the chairlift area. So not the safest place to be practicing.
Yeah, to come in at 70 miles an hour. So are you coming into that area at 70 miles an hour, or
Yeah. Yeah, and then you just gotta shut down.
just
You have like 300
hit
yards
that
to
edge?
shut down before you're hitting people.
Hopefully not hitting people, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean that's the idea. But certainly, I mean, if you watch those videos, yeah, certainly was taking a risk there. But
taking a risk, but it seemed like you were. I mean, I watched the videos. It seemed like you were in control.
within the comfort zone. I'm not going outside the comfort zone until I
Yeah.
have a closed course, a speed trap, and yeah. We're also building a brake system. So Omni snowboards in Australia, they've got a brake where the leash pulls out after a certain amount of force, and then a brake comes over the edge of the ski and engages kind of like a ski brake. So you
Whoa.
can lose the board and still have it stop.
Oh,
And it's
wow.
it's approved by ski patrol bodies in Australia already. So I think that could actually be a pretty big thing for just getting snow skating in more resorts and stuff like that.
Yeah. I gotta
And
say, nothing against your sponsor, but they're out of their freaking mind in Australia.
yeah,
That's
I gotta
That's
agree with
crazy.
you. They got brakes. They're riding 180 centimeter, and they only have a season that lasts 3 months.
Wow.
So
So how are they? So are they making you custom stuff? Are you working with them, or how
yeah,
is the sponsorship working?
we're just chatting. They have um the guy I've been talking with, Dave Kelly. He's a half pipe um champion in Australia. So
Okay.
he used to win like every year. He would be Australian champion during the heyday of the half pipe competition, which was like in the 90s. So he's a big name in snowboarding over there, and he's been working with the first snowboard manufacturer and designing boards together and basically winning contests with them. So he just
Oh,
kind of
cool.
sent me a message one day, and I was, man, I mean, if I had a dream for a perfect board, so
Go ahead.
the world record holder for speed snowboarding from 1990s through about till 2010. So for almost 20 years, uh, Darren Powell held the world record for speed snowboarding. And
And
he's actually a
what was
rider
that?
for Omni Snowboard. So he
Okay.
went over 200K, which is, he went 125 miles an hour on a snowboard,
Ooh.
which is amazing. And he was the first to bring snowboarding anywhere near that level, which is amazing because they don't get a lot of time on snow in Australia. So he
Yeah,
was really
really.
dedicated and traveled to Europe to accomplish that. Anyways, he rides for Omni Snowboards, and so uh, the real product of this collaboration is going to be a snow skate, which is a miniature version of Darren Powell's world record speedboard, and then that's going to bring us to the next level. Hope.
See where that takes you. So I know when we were chatting, you had did you have surgery on your shoulder or
Yeah, so I'm in the sling right now. I went and got arthroscopy done. So my labrum was torn, which is the soft tissue that covers the socket part of the ball and socket joint. And you rip that tissue off of the lip of the cup. And then every time you hyperextend your shoulder, it comes out of socket because there's
ugh.
nothing supporting the cup, nothing
Oh man.
supporting the ball and socket joint. It's like part of the cup is just not there to hold it in. So they go in there and put an anchor in. They re-anchor the lip of your soft tissue there.
So was that an
So
injury that you sustained snow skating or
yeah,
skateboarding
so
or
just repeated shoulder dislocations from every time I shut down slide to stop. Every once in a while, if it was like too rough snow and I was dragging my hand and hit something, yank it out of socket, or on pavement, you could hit a tar snake. There's like sticky tar over a crack, and that'll drag your shoulder out.
ugh.
And if you're not careful, rip it out of socket. So you do that enough times, you'll sustain some damage. It was finally getting to where I just couldn't sleep at night.
Ugh, yeah, you gotta be able to do that. So what does that make this winter look like for you?
Yeah, I'm not riding potentially for 4 months at least, 4 or 5 months. So I have another month of being immobile in the sling, 2 months of range of motion exercises, 2 months of strengthening exercises. Then I can think about snow
So
skating.
maybe in April, right?
So it's
If I
gonna
did
be
that,
April, May,
yeah. So
end
you're
of
like,
the season.
maybe I'll get
Yeah.
out there. Probably not going to be breaking any speed records right off the bat, I would imagine.
No, so I think if things go really well and they have a really long season in Europe, there's still a chance that something could happen in springtime. springtime is when most of the speed skiing events happen anyway. So
Yeah.
that's when the snow conditions are ripe for that sort of thing. So yeah, we'll see, but you know, I'm more just worried about my longevity in
Yeah.
skateboarding going forward.
Yeah.
Speed record can wait. I don't think anyone actually cares. You know, Patrick Buchner, um, props to that guy. That was amazing. A week after I did my 70-mile-an-hour attempt, which was right after I had a falling out with the loud snow skates, they geared up their European rider to make an attempt, and then he went and did 74, which is cool, but
Same
he did
run.
it. So he's on this crazy slope in Kitzsteinhorn in Austria,
Mm.
which actually used to be a speed skiing slope. And so this just so much steeper and so much longer. He doesn't have to tuck or really do anything except put on slick clothing. So yeah, no problem, 74. If I were able to tuck that hill, I'd like to think I would at least break 80, but
What's your goal? Like what's the mark that, if I hit this, this is gonna make me happy?
I can be done. Um,
I mean,
you know what it is.
what?
I don't think anyone even has to say it. It's 100. So nobody's ever gone 100 on a skateboard. I don't think so. This is coming up on us really fast because we've got a few things going on right now. You've got downhill gravity longboarding, wheels on pavement. They've gone 91 miles an hour.
Oof.
So they're
So
pretty
getting there.
close.
Yeah.
But this happened on a hill where 91 is the absolute max you can get out of the hill. So longboarders are not going to go any faster until a new hill is built. There's rumors that China was going to build a hill to break the world record and be part of an Olympic event or something, but
So is
I don't
that
think that came to fruition.
by
So there's only
building a
one.
hill?
So there's only one hill in the world that is steep enough and long enough and high enough elevation that you can skate it that fast. So what's interesting is street luge went 100 on this hill. So street luge already got there with gravity. Skateboards got to 91. And now on the electric side of things, you have just in the past few weeks, this guy Jason Lucier has been pushing the electric luge. He did 101, then 103, and now 108. So they're at 108 miles an hour, the electric luge. The
Hmm.
electric skateboards are getting into the 80s. I've seen someone pushing 80 miles an hour if you look up Wraith skateboards. So, in my opinion, really not far for either one of those to be the first to be 100.
Wow.
It could be
So
the electric skateboard or it could be the gravity skateboard. But I think it's so already there for snow skating. You don't have
you
to
need a good
build the
wax though,
hill.
right?
I've got it.
You got it. He's got it.
Dynamic wax. I've got the secret juice.
Ooh. We're getting the
This is dynamic wax. This is what you're going to use instead of wax. Um, I would say in 5 years, but really, whenever you decide you're sick of waxing your board, spray it on. You're
is
good to
that
go.
where do you get that?
These are my sponsors from the UK. A man named JD Prince got in contact with me and said, let's make your board faster. And he's the owner of this company, originally known as Pocket Juice. It's just a nanoparticle solution that fills in the pores in your base instead of wax particles. It has a higher binding affinity, so it doesn't come out of the base, and it doesn't leave anything on the surface. So your first run is as fast as your third run. So my ski
So
has the permanent solution, and I haven't waxed my ski in like 100 days of riding.
Hey folks, make sure you look in the links below because there's gonna be links to all this
Yeah,
stuff.
dynamic wax. I'm telling you, be a skeptic for sure, but after you try it a few times, you'll probably fall in love with it, especially in the wet, in the slush. There's
Nice.
nothing like it.
Well, so how does it compare if you're in sunny, slushy, or if you're in really cold?
It is just unbelievably consistent. One thing that happens with it is you'll notice a little bit of stickiness when you're going slow. So in the lift line, it'll feel like maybe the base is a little dry. But as soon as you start going, it's fantastic.
Wow.
So you can touch it up if you need to, if it starts to leach out on you, but I don't know. I went through a phase of topping up the treatment before riding, and then I would just leave it alone for months at a time, and I didn't notice much performance difference. I think
So
once it's fully treated, it's fully treated.
So do you guys get the do you guys get like the in the spring, like the sap and the needles and all that stuff? I know just like takes all the wax off and you're halfway through the day. And it's so how does it work in that kind of environment?
So it's kind of the opposite. So when you're waxing, the idea of wax is soak it into the base and then scrape it off to where only the base is exposed. But then after that first run, wax starts to fall out of the base and then you're slower. So if you want to have a more consistent performance over 3 runs, you might leave a little wax on the surface. Snow skaters take this to the extreme. I've seen snow skaters just straight up wax their base and go riding without scraping or brushing. And they're just like, yeah, pine needles will scrape it off. What dynamic wax does is gives you a perfect base that's very hard and very hydrophobic so that you glide on snow. And then because your base is perfectly clean, it actually picks up dirt and shit off of the slopes, and that slows you down. Now, with normal waxing, you would have to go through this process of de-waxing your board, brushing all the wax out of your board, and then cleaning your base if you want to get back to your original performance. Dynamic wax, there's no wax to get rid of in the ski, so you can just take it home and clean it with alcohol.
Oh, really?
And then, yeah, and then get all the dirt off of it. And you'll notice when your base is dirty versus when it's clean, it glides better. And in the springtime, when the dirt starts to come up through the snow, it makes a big difference to clean your base every day. So it's just really cool to be able to just do that. You don't have to, like if you have to change temperatures on wax, not really going to work unless you've already completely worn off all that old wax. Doesn't matter with dynamic wax. I'm a big advocate for dynamic wax. It's not a new technology, and it's kind of the original. And you see knockoffs all over. DPS has something called Phantom Wax. There's another product called Armored Labs. These are all direct competitors that stole the idea from dynamic wax.
Huh.
Yeah, it's never going to catch on because it's kind of like big oil. Ski industry has big wax and they're never going to let go of it.
So you mentioned a dropping out from allowed snow skates. Do you want to go into that, or is that kind of a?
We can touch on it. I mean, if anyone's listening, there was a misunderstanding with a signature deck that was going to have my name on it, and basically it was my understanding this deck was not going to be ready for me for another week. And I was already riding standard allowed popsicle complete. I hate popsicle boards. So I wanted to get on something more longboard shaped. So I just bolted up one of my longboards and started riding it. I posted a video, and the longboard company actually took that video and reposted it on their page to promote that deck that I was riding, which was cool.
Oh,
I got a whole bunch of new followers that were all serious longboarders, and that was just a big deal for me at the time, and did not go over well with the
no.
Allowed owner. So he saw me promoting someone else's product when he wanted to sell completes only. So understandably kicked me off the team.
Yeah.
The real shame being that had I just waited a week, I could have ridden this deck that he made for me, which was like a signature deck, which is my style, not a popsicle.
Yeah.
But, and it's like I harbor some feelings over that incident because I wasn't under contract. I had no reason to believe there would be repercussions for me, potentially accidentally promoting someone else's product.
Yeah.
But
You're just skating.
I was just putting out a video. It's like, man, check out what I can do. And yeah, but so that was kind of the beginning of the end, but I think that represents the separation of my vision for snow skating and Allowed Snow Skate's vision for snow skating. I want snow skating to be this thing that's cheaper than snowboarding, that you customize. It's
yeah.
kind of like longboarding. Never really going to be big enough for there to be like a mass produced like indie truck and like everyone rides indies.
Right.
When you go to the longboarding session, everybody's got some totally custom crazy setup. It's not like skateboarding where if you stray too far from the norm, you have to question, is it still skateboarding? Longboarding, we all just ride crazy, wacky shit. So I see that being more of the future where sure you can sell completes, but expect that people are then going to rebuild them and customize them, put their own decks on it, do whatever they want to make it feel right. Because it's not like a snowboard where you wait around for the company to improve it. That's not happening for us in snow skating. So you got to do your own tinkering.
Yeah, and it's very much a quiver sport. It really is.
Yeah, I think you're dead wrong if you're trying not to do it as a quiver sport.
I mean, it's fine. Whatever, get one and go out and try it, but just know that when conditions are varying, you're gonna have a lot more fun on a different shape.
There's two ways to play it. There's ride the correct shape for the conditions. You'll always have a good time.
Right.
Or ride the biggest, most capable shape in your quiver at all times. You'll never find yourself shorthanded. You'll just find yourself kind of wanting to go straight on days where you shouldn't be going straight. It's like, man, I could have made some more turns today. Okay.
So how is Breckenridge been in accept get
Oh,
it out. I'll get it out. How do they accept snow skating?
Breckenridge is very accepting of snow skates. I don't think
It's awesome.
any of the resorts up here in Colorado, except for maybe Wolf Creek, give people trouble. I've snow skated at Arapahoe Basin, Breckenridge, and Copper Mountain. Copper Mountain's probably the friendliest resort for snow skaters, just in that they have more features and more terrain that's appropriate for it. But at Breckenridge, I have no problem. All the lifties know me, of course, because of white helmet.
Yeah.
So they see me coming up,
and they
know
probably
I
see
don't
you
have to
pretty
strap
often.
in. Oh yeah. I mean, it was like 4 days a week at one point.
And they're like, that was fast. Whoa, you're back?
That's my favorite. When the lifties are like, wow, you're back already? Like, no turns today. Sorry, not in the mood.
Jeez, man. Well, I'll tell you, those videos are awesome. They're so that can be found on your Instagram.
Yeah. Check out my Instagram for all that fast riding footage and stuff.
And then going forward, Omni snow skates, snowboards.
Snowboards, actually. They
Omni
have produced
snowboards.
skis in the past, so I think they're
That,
familiar with this type of thing, but this is their first venture into snow skating. They made some proto snow skates last season, but they were all short, and now they're really stepping into a new realm.
do you know if they're gonna call it something different? Like
I think they're just gonna sell them as completes under the brand Omni Snowboards.
so what if somebody wanted to just buy the ski?
Sure. That's the big difference, right? That was the thing that Allowed did that shot me in the foot, right?
Yeah.
So I'm starting to get okay at this snow skating thing where I'm doing it in a way that is aligns with my vision. You know, I wanted to do the shit that people do in the longboard video, but I never had the balls to do that on pavement. So to be able to do that same exact motion and slide 200 feet and it feels the same, that was like a dream come true to me. And people noticed that happening for me and started to get stoked on snow skating. And, you know, people were asking me for skis left and right, and I couldn't sell them to them. I said, well, you can buy the complete for 750. And by the way, the ski costs 200 wholesale.
Yeah. You're like,
And
come
it's
on,
like,
I just want the ski, man.
these are skaters, dude. They're not, they want to pay $40 for a set of wheels, you know?
They can
They don't.
maybe come up with enough the 200 for the sub, right?
Yeah, I'm over here spending thousands of dollars on my personal gear. Like it's like you guys are missing out, but not like everyone can just do that.
Right. Well,
But
I know
yeah,
for
that's
me,
where
yeah, for me, it's been just a collecting process, right?
yeah,
It's
I haven't
taken
really got a
years.
confirmation because we're just prototyping right now, but I'm pretty sure Omni plans to sell like complete and a kit so you can have your own deck or buy it complete. That's
Because
the way.
people are gonna have their own preference. Like there's, somebody might want to ride a coffin style or something, or get some from Kurt, that'll do a custom shape for you, or something like that. And maybe Omni will go into that too, like have a couple different deck
Um,
shapes.
my deal is I ride the same deck in the summer and winter.
Oh,
So I do downhill on my same deck, same grip, and it all translates really well that way.
wow. You're not using any sort of like grip ball or tundra
Yep.
grip or any? Do you use that in the summer too?
Yeah.
What?
So this was blowing minds all summer because I've been traveling to skate events all summer. But yeah,
Dude,
this
look
is
at
my
that.
downhill longboard.
That's it.
It's got big old race wheels. I've added weight to the bottom of it to compensate so that it is not drastically lighter than my snow skate. So it feels
Oh,
similar to slide it.
smart.
In the beginning of the summer, I had an 11-pound snow skate, and I thought, well, the wheels grip harder than skis on snow, so I'll make it 12 pounds and start from there. And so I had a 12-pound skateboard, which is a little excessive.
Yeah.
For reference, the regulation weight is 10 pounds. And then when I went to Acme, which was a US national qualifying race, I had to reduce my weight to 10 pounds. And that's where I've been.
You're like at the max. Like I gotta
Yeah,
be at the max.
I like a heavy board because it's still not as heavy as my snow skate.
All right. Bonus questions. Okay. All right. So this is we're gonna put your thinking cap on here. All
All
right.
right.
So what is a skill that you would want to learn but haven't yet?
Like in skateboarding,
In anything in life.
Oh, in life?
Yeah, these are not skateboarding, snow skating specific.
Yeah. And I would like to get good at 3D modeling so that I can make a 3D model. I have no idea what to do when you get to the part where you start to 3D print things and prepare your model for 3D printing. So I would love to just stick a USB in the back of my head and be able to use a 3D printer tomorrow. So that's like my number one skills, because then you could prototype anything if you just had a 3D printer.
Nice, nice. All right. So if you were living in a tribe community, what would you offer?
I'd probably be like a dancer, right? I'd offer like spiritual experiences. I'd be
Nice,
like the
nice.
shaman. There you go.
All right. What key components would you expect other members of the tribe to contribute? Maybe like the top 3.
Well, somebody's providing food, so that's probably a whole job. Probably have somebody building shelter, and that's probably a whole job. And maybe clothes would be the next most important. So
Nice. All right. Okay, last
my
one.
tribe. I like it.
All right, last one. Here we go. If the system we're all dependent on collapses tomorrow, what would be the first thing that you would do?
I guess I'd go down to the coffee shop and just see who's there. Try to figure things out from there. I might hike up the mountain.
Let's
I
get
don't
a
know. I
view.
feel like I would stay put. I feel like everyone would try to go home to their loved ones. I would just wait and see what happens.
Nice.
Apocalypse. I'm stuck.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, hey, thanks, Harrison, for coming on the show, dude. It's been awesome to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching this episode of AquaBrain TV. This is where you subscribe to us. This is where you subscribe to Harrison. This is a video we think you'll like.